One of the things we've got to push for is the truth of this country to come out. And it's not about a guilt trip. It's about how to communicate. I got one sure way: rewrite the history books and tell the truth.
All right, let's say we rewrote our history to reflect the truth. Then, where do we start? Well, there's always the beginning. Whatever history has told you about my mob, it's time to rethink it. On this country, us blackfellas have the longest continuing laws, customs, beliefs, and connection to land on the planet. Now, I know it's hard enough to imagine 300, 400, 500 years, but try and get your head around 77,000 years. Now, looking at it this way might help. I'm going to draw this line in the sand continuously for 77 seconds, and each second will represent 1,000 years.
There's nothing in the accepted history of Australia which really explains what our old people were doing. And there was evidence there that our people were harvesting grain, building houses, living in villages of 1,000 people. None of this was squaring with that hunter-gatherer idea. Some Europeans reported that when they were trying to negotiate for the land, you know, preparatory to stealing it, they went into houses and there were 50 people inside those houses. Like, that's a massive building. They were centre poles and ridges and, you know, it was designed, had windows and doors and...
Some huts being large and circular, made from straight rods coming together at an upright pole in the middle. The outside had first been covered in bark and grass, and the entirety covered in clay. A fire appeared to have been made in the centre, and the whole was left at the top as a chimney.
There are plenty of evidence, like Sir Thomas Mitchell, who he said he envied Aboriginal houses because they were so clean, they were so well built, they were so comfortable. We were the first people on earth to make bread. 36,000 years ago, some old girl decided to harvest some grain, turn it into flour, mix it with water and put it in the fire, and she was the first person on earth to make bread. We don't learn about that in school. Our people were building dams all around the country. You know, that's something I hadn't expected. Well, these dams were taken over by Europeans, and there are people in Roper River who were starting to dig cores down through those old dams and finding our people's work. Charles Sturt was dying, and they were at the end of their tether, and they got onto the top of one more sand dune, and 400 Aboriginal people hailed them.
They treated us with genuine hospitality, and we might certainly have commanded everything they had. Several of them brought large troughs of water, and when we had taken a little, offered them up for our horses to drink.
And those people brought them water to drink, and then held it out to the horses, an animal they'd never seen before. And Sturt talks about their courage in giving water to this creature. Then those people fed them roast duck and cake. These people weren't living on the bones of their arse in the centre of Australia, you know, what we now call the dead heart of Australia. They were flourishing. Our people looked after everybody, each to his own, you know. People would contribute as they could, but they would all receive what they needed. Sensible Australians will decide they want to belong. They want to belong to this culture. You know, they'll never be black, but they want to belong to the culture. They want to embrace the culture because it makes so much sense and it's so rich and it's the oldest on earth. Learning an 80,000-year-old story for me is much more important than learning a 200-year-old story. So that's why I want the 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, whatever colour their skin is, to learn the law and the culture of this land, because it will stand them in good stead. You know, we need to look after the earth, and we need to look after it very quickly, otherwise we won't be around.
This is the end of our film, but it's not the end of our journey. If Australia continues to shine a light on the white story, but keep the black story in the dark, we're never going to be able to come together. And we're never going to go into a future where we can be friends. Because we all want to be friends, eh?